needs a hobby.
So what's yours?
Resurrection.
So, let's see if Skyfall is worth watching or not. This is the 23rd official movie in the series, and prior to watching this movie, I sat down and watched all the previous movies. Yeah, I used Pirate Bay, sure, I could have bought the box set, but I'm not that hardcore. However, it took me about a month to see them all, and it was interesting to see how the movies evolved from that old-fashioned 60s way of making movies further into the 80s and 90s and so on. So, for example, the intros at first were kind of just outline people jumping around, and then in later movies they started using more CG. There's always been a tradition to start the movie with Bond walking in and shooting the camera. Well, that's a nice way to introduce you to the hero, have him shoot you in the face. Then with later movies, they tried doing it with more creative ways, and then in the latest movies, they just put it at the end of the movie instead. The old movies were also quite goofy and didn't take themselves too seriously, but in the later movies, they've tried focusing more strictly on the action itself. But he's still using that smoking though, that hasn't changed. So with the latest movie, Skyfall, I went to the cinema with my dad for once, and that was nice because he has also been watching the majority of the Bond movies himself. Now with Skyfall, was it great? Yeah, pretty much. When I first saw the introduction of Daniel Craig in Casino Royale, I was like, no, this isn't Bond. His hair is too short and his face is too rounded. I always thought that Pierce Brosnan was the ultimate Bond in terms of look, but Craig was okay too, and Casino Royale itself was a surprisingly good movie. It's probably one of the best Bond movies in my opinion. Then Quantum of Solace was, yeah, good, but nothing spectacular. But Skyfall, holy shit, this is epic. So, what can I say about the plot? Well, here is a quick wrap up. The British Secret Service gets attacked by terrorists, so they have to go do a little more underground. It's something that could actually be in a newspaper, and it's not something ridiculous like a scary man with an eye patch living on an island wants to make a giant satellite laser and destroy the world. The villain, he is gay. No, sorry, that was unprofessional. He's the typical Bond villain, and it works for me. But there is this one small scene though, where he takes off his teeth and then he reveals a steel jaw underneath. This made me think that he was a recasted version of Jaws, who is the most badass Bond villain ever, but that was just a lie. The best part of the movie has to be the action scenes. They are just top notch. James Bond is the most daring person ever. When he rides a motorcycle on rooftops and crashes through a window, down on the streets and up again, or when fist fighting someone on a train while in danger of getting sniped, it looks great. It does. Maybe Bond is losing the charm, but hell, the action is just getting better and better. Yeah, he doesn't use as much futuristic gear as he used to, but there is still quite a bit. For example, he gets a gun that only he can trigger, and he uses this old car from the 60s with an ejection seat and machine guns on the front. When this car first appeared on screen, people in the crowd started cheering. It turns out that this was the first car Bond ever used, but I'm not really that good at recognizing cars. You'll realize that Skyfall has a lot of references to the classic movies, like the old car, and also plenty of classic Bond characters are returning, but replaced with different actors. And the recasting of some of these characters are quite surprising and not what you'd expect. I'm not going to spoil anything, but with some of the characters, you won't even know who they are until the very end. So, if you don't know though, Casino Royale was an origin story telling how Bond came to be. But now that we have Quantum of Solace and Skyfall, you can kind of look at this as a prequel trilogy if you want. Skyfall is like Revenge of the Sith, where everything comes full circle, and that is really awesome. It gives a little extra to the old fans. I mean, I'm too young to remember the oldest movies, but heck, the first movie is 50 years old. Is there really anyone still alive who saw the first movie when it was new and still watches them today? Well, seeing how popular James Bond has been, and the fact that there are 23 official Bond movies and some spin-offs, I can see there have to be some Bond veterans out there still enjoying these movies. James Bond 007 is a timeless franchise, and there will always be a Bond for every generation. Whenever you think his mission is done, then think again. because you're never done with 007.